But we are also live streaming on YouTube. If you check your Mindvalley email, you'll see that we've sent you a link to a YouTube so that you can also watch it on YouTube if you cannot get back in this call, okay? So if anything happens and you get bumped, please just go to YouTube and all will be okay. Now, those of you who are Mindvalley members, you know the drill. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Say where you, tell us your name, say where you're from. And it's so exciting to see so many people from all around the world here. Wow, the chat is moving so fast. I can barely read this. We are at 3,900 people. We're going to wait for another 1,000 or so to join us. We're almost at 4,000, and then we will begin. This is insane. The chat, Zoom chat doesn't function. That is not even usable once you get to these numbers of people. But we're now at 4,100, and the numbers are going up. Now, you'll also notice something. There's a Q&A box, okay? So we're going to make this interactive. All of you can ask a question, and you can also vote up questions. So you don't have to ask a question now, but as this class progresses, if you have a question on the topic, let's keep it to the topic of forgiveness. Go ahead, ask the question. And if you see a question that resonates with you, give that person a thumbs up, an upvote. The top 1 to 2 to 3 questions we're going to answer in the class. And at the end of the class, I'm going to dedicate around 20 minutes just to stay back with any of you who want to stay back with me to go through any pending questions, okay? We're now at 4.4 thousand people. We will begin when we hit 4.5 thousand people. So I see questions coming in. So Raphael said, will this be recorded? It's going to be on YouTube, but no, this will not be recorded. Lots of other good questions coming in. Check out the question box. Okay, we're now at 4.6 thousand people. So let us begin. We are now going to start. And while waiting for more people to join, I'm just going to bring on a quick guest because I'm experimenting with this new format right now, okay, of live calls and making them public. So while this call is designed for our members, I want you to know if you're a member, love you, value you, this call is designed for our members, but we wanted to open it up for other people who are maybe thinking about becoming members, who want to see what Mindvalley is all about and the quality of trainings that we get out. So we decided to try an experiment. I had to pay $2,000 to upgrade my Zoom account to go from 3,000 to 5,000 people. So since I have this upgraded fancy Zoom account for this week, and Zoom gets really expensive when you're dealing with these numbers of people, I thought I'd also make a class on Monday open to the public. That class on Monday is in a topic completely different from forgiveness. It's on kickboxing. So either you forgive or you just go and you practice kickboxing and vent out that anger. But I want to bring up, while waiting, oh my God, we had 4,900 people. While waiting for the last 100 or so to join, let me quickly bring up a kickboxing instructor. She has a story on forgiveness and let me see if she's here. And she'll also spend a minute just telling you what you can expect in tomorrow's class on kickboxing. Okay, we're waiting for her to join. I don't see a Simone V, I see a Simone B. But if that is you, Simone, just let me know, okay? WhatsApp me so I know the name you're under and I can just make you live. So firstly, I want to share with you the data that we got from our survey on forgiveness. Around 2,700 of you completed the survey. And what was most interesting is that the biggest issue that people had was that was forgiving themselves. That was the most interesting thing. I'm going to show you some of the survey data, and then we're going to we're going to go deep into self-forgiveness. Now I'm seeing our guest speaker can't join because we've hit 5K. So I'm just going to let our guest speaker know that unfortunately the class is closed. Okay, I'm going to send our guest speaker a panelist link. Now, I'm going to share my screen as I take you through this process. And I want to give you an idea of what to expect. Firstly, this is going to be, I'm going to teach you a protocol for forgiveness, and then we're going to be doing this protocol together. There are two protocols I'm going to teach you. One protocol is something you're going to do here. And if you like this, you can copy it and do it over a period of 5 to 30 days, depending on the level of forgiveness that you need to reach. Now, the second protocol is trading to go beyond forgiveness. This is a really interesting protocol, and we'll be getting this out to you too. Let me set up a guest speaker. Annie, if you're here, I'm going to just send you Simone's email so that you can give her a panelist link.
Sure,
and
take care of that.
Yeah, and invite her in as a guest speaker. Okay, thanks. And we should be good to begin. Annie, just WhatsApp me when Simone is ready. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so just a confirmation. Annie, can you see the slideshow?
Yes, I can see them.
Awesome, great. I'm just going to share sound as well. Okay, I'm opening the chat so I can see all of you guys, and we will begin this training. All right, let's get ready to go. By the way, I am a little bit nervous. This is the biggest class I've ever done. Ever done. I get nervous too. So we'll begin. So the first thing is that many of you might be wondering, am I wearing pants? I posted this on the recording I did for Emirates. I want to assure you that today, guys, I actually am not in my pajamas. Beneath this desk, I am fully dressed. I'm wearing pants. I'm absolutely decent. And I showered. So I'm really taking this seriously. One of the things that got a ton of you signing up for this was this quote I pasted on Instagram, the word unfuckwithable. I'm going to tell you why I'm obsessed with this word, why I'm writing a book on this topic, and I'm going to show you a path to get to unfuckwithability. Apologize to any of you who might have your kids around. This is a good time to cover their ears. Now, in the survey we released, I want to show you the data. Okay, so look at that. 35% of people said that the biggest issue they had with forgiveness was forgiving themselves. Okay, so we're going to spend some time touching upon this. I was actually surprised. I thought it'll be maybe 10, 15%, but in this scenario, it was 35% of you said this was the biggest question you had on forgiveness. 42% was about forgiving someone else, and around 20% was forgiving past trauma. Forgiving past trauma could be the result of someone else. It could also be something you experience, right? For example, some of you who may have served in the military, who have been in a war, you may have to forgive a government, forgive something, a larger entity that caused you trauma. You will learn how you can forgive not just human beings, but larger entities, a government, a company, anything that may have caused you to experience some form of trauma in the past. So we took all of the answers that you guys provided. Like I said, 2,700 of you completed the survey, and mostly half of you actually wrote down statements. Now we analyzed this, and you can see some of the biggest words that came out: forgive, hurt, feel. I want to show you a bit of a word cloud, right? Now pay attention to this. These were the common words that came out, but this was what really made me understand you guys better. Myself and yourself. Notice that. Forgive myself. Or questions such as how to forgive yourself. So you see, that is a large number of people. So if you're here because you need to forgive yourself for something that you did in the past, we're going to go deep in that topic. I shifted this presentation so that we can go deeper into that topic. So first off, welcome to our members. For those of you who are Mindvalley members, go ahead and announce that in the chat. Let us know what you're studying right now, maybe how long you've been a member and where you're from. We're so excited to have our members here. And for our members, just a quick announcement. As I said, guys, for those of you who are guests, know that I always speak to our members first. We're inviting guests over here, but we always design this presentation so first of all, we cater this to our members, okay? Because these are the people who are part of Mind Valley All Access. You can see all of their excited comments. We're at 41,000 members right now, with hundreds new ones joining every day. So, quick member update before we begin. Simone Didas, I'm going to be bringing her on in a moment when Simone is able to join. She'll be doing a class on kickboxing on Monday. We're going to open this up as well, so you can bring a friend. We are experimenting, and why we're opening this up is we're experimenting with something new, with live streaming from a full-on studio where we bring you teachers to teach movement and teach unique nuances of movement so that those of you who are trapped in lockdown in your apartment can at least get some exercise. But that's not all, guys. On Thursday, the actor Matthew McConaughey is going to be coming live to address all of you guys. And I'm so excited to be bringing Matthew McConaughey. I'm going to be inviting some of you members to actually get on camera and interview Matthew, because how often do you get to talk to a Hollywood A-lister? Now, to figure out who's going to be able to interview Matthew with me live on camera, and we're going to give you that footage, we're going to run a little fun competition on social media. Do you guys know Matthew McConaughey's tagline? Type it out. You know his tagline? All right, all right, all right. So we're going to pick the 3 best Matthew McConaughey imitators, or the 3 people who can do the best version of all right, all right, all right. We're going to bring you live to interview Matthew McConaughey. But one quick thing, you should have read his book, Green Lights, or at least a chapter or 2 of the book, or you should at least know a little bit about Matthew, the amazing guy that he is, and what his mission is in the world. By the way, Matthew McConaughey, if you Google Matthew McConaughey on forgiveness, you'll find some fascinating videos from the Howard Stern show on Matthew forgiving his family members. It's really, really, really interesting. He's big on forgiveness. Now, the next tip, just for members, is go to insights.mindvalley.com. As you are studying this, leave your notes on Insights. For those of you who are guests, insights.mindvalley.com is a member utility we use where we all share notes and ideas, okay? Only for members, but what I'm going to do is the person who takes the best notes on this class, I have a special gift for you. So share your notes, your insights on this class. We might publish, if your insights are really good, we might publish it on our blog. We might share it with other members. But this way, all of you can see what each other are learning. Your insights don't have to be notes on what I'm saying. They could be your own addition to what is going on over here. But share your insights on insights.mindvalley.com. Right now, this is only available to members, so you have to be a Mind Valley member to be able to log in and use the tool. And go ahead and enjoy. I can't wait to see your insights. Now, let's get started. First thing is this: forgiveness is the pinnacle of compassion training. You've heard me say this before. One of the biggest things we need to teach in our schools, in our universities, is compassion. Forgiveness is that pinnacle of compassion training. Says who? Says this guy. This is Gelong Thupten. Gelong Thupten is a British Buddhist monk. You guys might remember the movie Doctor Strange. Well, Benedict Cumberbatch, who played Doctor Strange, Gelong Thupten was the monk hired to sit down with Benedict Cumberbatch in that Marvel movie and teach him Eastern philosophy. Gelong is a Englishman, actually. He's half English, half Indian. He's British. He spent 4 years in silent meditation in a Scottish island, practicing Tibetan Buddhism. And this is something really interesting he had to say about forgiveness. Amy, please confirm. Just say yes if you can hear the audio.
Into
Yes.
discussing forgiveness, which really is the pinnacle of compassion training. Because it's easy to feel compassion for our friends and family. It's easy to feel compassion for the weak and vulnerable, and children and animals. That's easy. But to feel compassion for the one who's wronged us, or to feel compassion for those who are doing wrong to others, is incredibly challenging and yet very powerful. So in that sense, forgiveness training is the top level of compassion development.
So I want to stop there,
means that
okay?
we've really
Forgiveness
moved
training
beyond-
is the top level of compassion development. And I want you guys to remember that. We are not just going to be talking about forgiveness here. We're talking about using forgiveness as a trampoline to bounce you to other ideal states. And one of the biggest things that happens when you practice forgiveness regularly is a feeling of compassion. You feel a oneness with the universe, a oneness with life, a oneness with nature. You care about climate change. You care about animals going extinct. You start feeling your affinity go beyond just your country's borders to all people. Forgiveness training actually expands your sense of self. It makes you kinder, gentler, and in many cases, it makes you less of an asshole. So the more you practice forgiveness, the nicer a person you are. So this isn't just about ridding yourself of dread or regret. It's about actually elevating your state of being. Now, what's interesting is Gelong Tubten is a Buddhist monk. And scientists I met who have studied forgiveness have found that it was the fastest way to give you the brainwave states of Zen Roshi monks. We're going to come to that fascinating study, and I'm going to show you what I experienced. But these are other studies on forgiveness. So decreased levels of anger and hostility. Forgiveness reduces the time you spend in feeling anger or hostile. It increases feelings of love for yourself, but for everyone around you. It enhances your capacity to trust other people. We'll be hearing a story about that from Ken Honda and why increasing trust is not a bad thing. It doesn't make you unsafe. It makes you safer. Freedom from events of the past. Forgiveness frees you from past events and improved health. So this one is where it gets interesting. A university in Amsterdam, I believe it was either Aarhus University or the University of Utrecht, they did an interesting study. After people practiced forgiveness, they were able to jump higher. When I shared that study once, I remember a famous Olympian from the French basketball team reached out to me to teach him forgiveness. But forgiveness, for whatever reason, helps you jump higher. An Israeli study found that forgiveness improves your endurance. Now, we don't know why, but forgiveness seems to improve athletic performance. Now, the final thing is improvement from psychiatric disorders. They found that people who are suffering from some form of psychiatric disorders, forgiveness is incredible therapy. So these are just what studies are finding. If you get on Google News and you type in forgiveness studies, you'll see an acceleration in the studies of forgiveness. But let me tell you about what I experienced, because this story is wild. So here I am with many other well-known. Oh, here's Simone. Before we start the story, hi, Simone. I'm just going to have you quickly. I wanted to, since you're here, Simone, tell us about what you're going to be training on Monday for our members on kickboxing.
Yeah, so first of all, hi everyone. Thank you for having me here. And on Monday, I'm going to be teaching a kickboxing class for self-defense and fitness. It's going to be really nice. I'm going to teach the basics of boxing, and then we're just going to get really sweaty and just like move ourselves and learn some cool stuff.
So those of you who want to find a way to move, I've been stuck in a lockdown for about 3 weeks. Those of you who want to find some way to move, and I'm in a location, Simone, where it's like -7 degrees outside. So I've just not had movement, which is why we are starting this new thing called Move with Mind Valley. It's going to be for members, but we want to make the first class open to the public. So those of you who are here, if you're not a member, I'd still love to see you on Monday. We're putting a lot of money into this. We're going to be filming Simone. She's an incredible trainer. She trains many of my female friends on kickboxing. So what happens is you get the endurance, you get the fitness, but you also learn self-defense. So if you were inspired by the movie Wonder Woman, become a Wonder Woman, learn how to kick butt, show up on Monday. It's going to be happening at the same time as right now, right? On Zoom. Okay. And we'll have space for 5,000 people. Now, Simone, the other reason I want to have you here is because you've been using one of the programs on Mind Valley, Conscious Uncoupling, I believe, plus Be Extraordinary. Both of those programs talk a lot about forgiveness. What have been some of the things that you've gained from studying these programs?
Well, first of all, I've learned a lot, but one of the main things is that I've learned how to not look myself as a victim anymore, because I think when something bad happens to you in your life, you always tend to be in that victim headspace, and that's something that I've learned, not to be a victim anymore, and like I'm just taking accountability for everything I've done, and just like accepting that I can't control others' what other people are doing actually, and they're always going to act like how they want and what's the best for them. So that's that. And also I've learned how to create an inner sanctuary for safety as well. That's one of the key things in conscious uncoupling. And yeah, that's really important for me, because you gotta feel safe and good in yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Simone. And Simone, if you are on the Connections by Mindvalley, the private network for our members, just know that a lot of people are going to be probably wanting to connect with you. I hope you get a lot of a great interest in the amazing work you're doing, kickboxing. Simone teaches kickboxing to Christina, my ex-wife, and Christina raves about Simone all the time. And so this is why we wanted to bring Simone as our kickboxing teacher. You can follow her on Simone, Simone Vidas, Simone Vidas. Thank you, Simone. Now, Simone, I'm going to make you an attendee, but before you go, I want to touch on something Simone said. It makes you feel less like a victim. We're going to talk about that. And the second thing is this. You mentioned that the other people are going to continue doing what they are doing, right? You mentioned that. What you're going to learn over here is that in forgiveness, you do not need the other person to forgive you. It is not a two-way street. We'll talk about this and the implications of this as we go forward. Thank you, Simone. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so going to go back to sharing my screen. And I want to tell you the story of what's going on in this picture. So you might recognize the guy in front of me. That's Dave Asprey, the famous biohacker. Dave, too, got really interested in forgiveness. The other person, you might recognize JJ Virgin. She's the famous writer on nutrition and parenting. So the three of us went for this retreat in Canada, where it was called the Bio-Cybernaut Institute. And what the scientists there were doing is that they had mapped the brainwave states of Zen Roshi monks. Okay, Zen Roshi monks. These are monks who spend 20 to 40 years in meditation. And they found that these monks had a certain brainwave state. And they wanted to figure out how, using modern technology, they could give ordinary people the same brainwave states. So what was interesting is that they built this facility, and you can see it looks kind of ghetto. You're sitting in these dark rooms, but it's done by scientists, and that's the best part. And what happens over there is that this is literally what it looks like. This is me in 2016 at the Bio-Cybernaut Institute. So what's going on is they have these 12 electrodes on your brain, and the best way I can describe it is this. There's a sound playing, and they train your brain to move into the right states to complete this sound. So the sound might be something along the lines of Mary, lamp, please. Notice certain tones are missing, certain words are missing. Now your brain recognizes that sound. Your brain needs to complete that sound. And it's weird. You can be thinking about anything else, but your brain will start moving into the right states to complete that sound. Now, what is the state they are looking for? Well, it turns out when they measured the minds of Zen Roshi monks, they noticed something. The Zen Roshi monks were functioning in the alpha level of mind, but it wasn't just ordinary alpha. So alpha is a brainwave state. This was alpha with really high amplitude, like ridiculously high amplitude. It was just huge. And after you finish this, the sessions that they put you in are like roughly around, I forget, it was like 3 to 5 minutes. They show you your alpha amplitude score. How deep were you able to get your alpha amplitude? And then they also measure something called left-right brain coherence, which means both sides of your brain are vibrating at the same level. Now, this isn't hokey, this is real. You then sit down with a scientist and you map and you study your brain waves. This is what the inside of my head looks like. It's not pretty. So one day, what happened was these scientists, they've been doing this for several years, and they found that there was this one woman, and this woman, she was like knocking it out of the ballpark. She was getting ridiculously beautiful brainwaves, high alpha amplitude, left-right brain coherence, and they were wondering what was going on. So the scientists asked her, "What are you doing there?" So you see, when they strap you in, the scientists don't tell you what to do. You can meditate, you can count, you can do breath work. They're not obsessed with what you do. They're just training your brain on autopilot. But this woman said, "You want to know what I was doing? I was forgetting that asshole." It turned out that what she was doing in the chamber was forgiving her ex-husband. Don't know what he did to her, but she was just forgiving and forgiving and forgiving her ex-husband. And this, the scientists latched onto. It was forgiveness. They had been looking at hundreds of participants, but this lady was getting the sexiest brainwaves, and it was forgiveness. So when I went to 40 Years of Zen, right, in their marketing, they don't tell you that you're going to be forgiving for 5 days, but that's what I had to do. I literally, for 5 days, around 5 hours a day, so that's 25 hours, was strapped to a machine, forgiving the fuck out of everything, like everything in your life, every tiny detail. And a large chunk of it is also forgiving yourself. Now, there's a protocol that the Bio-Cybernaut Institute developed. Now, Dave Asprey started a competing institute called 40 Years of Zen. His scientists refined the protocol. So I'm institute agnostic. It doesn't matter which one you go to. Just know that this is a $15,000 training. It's not cheap. I'm not involved. I'm not an affiliate. I'm just telling you what I did. I trained at both facilities. And what I'm sharing here is their protocol combined with my research, my protocol, and ideas from Mind Valley teachers. So this is what you're going to learn. Now, those of you who are members, I want you to know that I launched a little surprise for you guys. If you go into Mind Valley today, you'll see we've released a new program for you. It is, I shared a video of Gelong Thubtin, the British monk. Gelong's program, Becoming More Loving, is now available to you. This is a 7-day program on forgiveness training for compassion. You can go check it out. Gelong will train you 7 days, 20 minutes a day, like many Mind Valley programs, to help you get to monk-like states. We just launched this. Go check it out in the app. You can enroll today, right now. So thank you for being a member. Go check it out. Okay. Now let's go on to two things that happened when I was at the Bio-Cybernaut Institute, and this is what made me obsessed with forgiveness. Look, guys. Improving your vertical jump, improving your health benefit, that's cool. Being able to have that peace of mind, that's amazing. But there was a certain magic I witnessed, which I cannot explain. And now the story gets spooky. So the first thing had to do with ripples of connection. So I was training there with around 10 or so different people. They were Hollywood actors. There was a guy who had sold a company for $1 billion. You know, you can imagine for this type of training, $15,000 for 5 days, because scientists are actually working directly with you. You get a lot of like high-level professionals. Now, there was one particular person over there, and because he's a celebrity, I cannot share his name. But he had gone through, before he became famous, he had gone through some really shitty situations in his life. Drug addiction, sexual addiction, and he had gone through a really, really, really tough period. And he and I got to know each other, and I asked him, so what are you working on? So he was working on forgiving his brother. His brother had abused him sexually when he was 10 years old. And he basically hated his brother. They hadn't spoken in years. He hated his brother. Because of that repeated sexual abuse, he grew up hooked on drugs because he needed the drugs to feel good about himself. He couldn't be in a relationship. He was hooked on prostitution because sexually he was all messed up because of what he had experienced. He wasn't a bad person. As a 10-year-old, he had gone through some of the most unimaginable things you can experience. So one day, I think it was around day 3, we were just having breakfast before the training started. And he came to me and he was holding his phone and he goes, what the? And I asked him, what's wrong? Let's just say his name was Tom. I'm like, Tom, dude, what's going on? And he said, my brother, I don't understand this, Vishen. And I go, what's going on? Tell me. And he said, haven't spoken to my brother in years, but I've been in that chamber just forgiving him and forgiving him and forgiving him and trying to come to peace with the bullshit that he did to me. And I opened up my phone and I found that my brother, who hasn't spoken to me in years, just sent me a message saying he's sorry. And he attached a video saying he's sorry. Now, wasn't that crazy? Tom's brother had no idea that Tom, thousands of miles away, was practicing forgiveness. But in this weird coincidence, Tom's brother at that precise time felt compelled to send Tom an apology video. And this is why I say there are ripples of connection between all of us. Even if the other person, that you're trying to forgive doesn't know that you're forgiving them, even if you don't call them, I believe that something starts happening that we cannot explain. So that is the first one. Even though you do not have to wait for the other person to forgive you, there is a healing energy that is put out through forgiveness. Tom was an ordinary guy. He wasn't an avid meditator. He was new to this, but something happened. And he and his brother started talking again. Now, the second thing is this happened to me. So the second time I did forgiveness training, I remember it was 2017. Okay, this time it was in Seattle at 40 Years of Zen, Dave Asprey's thing. So I had I had this really bizarre thing happen to me. I went into not just alpha, but high levels of delta. And I felt this energy flow through my body. I couldn't understand it. I thought someone was shaking my chair. It turned out what I was experiencing is called a Kriya experience. You know, Paramahansa Yogananda writes about it a lot in Autobiography of a Yogi. It's when they say all your chakras are aligned and energy was flowing through your spine. It almost feels like an energetic orgasm. And as I was doing this, I felt something speak to me and tell me check by check by check, like a checklist, what I had to do to share my gifts with the world, to be a teacher, to be a trainer, to get my workout. Now, when I came out of it, I guess I kind of forgot it, right? I went back to life. I felt more peaceful because I'd been practicing forgiveness, but I forgot this checklist. I forgot about that it told me to write more books, to teach more, but it never forgot. And one day, 1 month later, it was precisely 1 month after this training, I was sitting in front of my computer and I just felt this weird intuition. Check your book on Amazon. That's literally, it was like a voice spoke to me. Check your book on Amazon. Now, I can tell you, as an author, after you finish a book and you get it out, you do not check the Amazon page. You don't want to. It's done. That chapter of your life is closed. Writing a book is so freaking stressful. It's so much work. You're not going there and refreshing your Amazon. Did I get a review? Did I get a review? But I felt this voice tell me, check your book on Amazon. And I checked. And my book had become the #1 book in the world the previous day. This was September 18. I remember because it's my son's birthday. September 17, my book had become the #1 book in the world. Look at this. Look at this Amazon rating. I grabbed this from the Amazon bestseller rank. And then November 11, again, it became the #1 freaking book in the world. I checked. I had become the #2 author in the world. Check that out. I overtook Hillary Clinton, whose book had come out that month, and I overtook freaking Tolkien. Can you guess who was #5? J.K. Rowling. So what the fudge happened? I don't understand how the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, the book, by the way, where I wrote about 40 years of Zen, where I wrote about forgiveness, became the #1 book in the world. There was no marketing campaign, nothing. I couldn't believe it, but it was, and then it fell. It fell, right? But that was the sign to me that I needed to go back to writing, to teaching, to getting information out to you guys. That made me so much more passionate about what I'm doing right now. And so 2 lessons here. Forgiveness is spiritual training. Yeah, the science is amazing, but there are ripples of connections that are unseen. And forgiveness improves your manifesting. We're going to come more to that in a moment. But now let's talk about the rules of forgiveness. Now, the first rule is this: you can forgive anything. Remember, I shared the story of a man forgiving his older brother for sexually abusing him. That is one of the darkest things you can imagine. Maybe 2-3% of people have been in that situation. Rape, violence. You can forgive anything. There's a picture of Mandela there because Mandela said that. Mandela forgave his jailers who put him in jail for 22 years. After he was out of jail, sorry, I forgot it was 22 or 27, he invited them for dinner. And that's why Nelson Mandela is one of my heroes. The second thing is this: forgiveness liberates. Forgiveness liberates you. People often think when you forgive, you're liberating the other person. No, you're liberating yourself. Forgiveness liberates you. And I want to share with you a very important video from the Mind Valley program, Rapid Transformational Hypnotherapy. So those of you who are members, you can check this out. It's one of the chapters of Rapid Transformational Therapy, but check out what Marissa Peer says about this. I think Greg is saying it's chapter 27. Who
Run money.
Oh, sorry, this is not rapid transformational therapy. This is money EQ. Sorry, slide issue. This is from Ken Honda. This is chapter 11 of Money EQ. Ken Honda talks about a really interesting scenario on forgiving his father. Listen carefully to what he says, and I want you to keep in mind the lesson here. Forgiveness liberates you.
Run money. As we have seen, the past dues and a lot of releasing is happening. But out of all the things happen to your life, who do you want to forgive? And probably when you hear this word, a few faces, names pop up into your head. Could be your father, could be your mother, could be somebody who stole your money. So let's start taking a closer look at forgiveness.
This is going to be a 2-minute video.
So years ago, as I healed the pain around money, I realized that I have to face my father. I had to forgive him for being whoever that is at the time. And after a few tries, I finally could forgive him. And in this forgiveness, we had such a deep connection. Miraculously, I had him say, "I'm sorry too." So as I forgive him for giving me a hard time, I realized he had the same thing when he was a child. So as a hurt child, I had a deep connection with him because he was hurt long time before me. So we had such a deep bonding as brothers. And as years go by, I realized that the healing and forgiveness that happened between my father and me opened up new doors. I felt this society is very safe, and older men, I used to have a lot of issues, but after healing with my father, I became very close to older people. That's why I could become good students with many mentors, including Wahei Takeda. So unless I did the deep healing with my father, I probably didn't have a good relationship with older people. That means I didn't have great mentors.
So I want you to recognize that, right? Pause on this lesson for a second. Ken Honda liberated himself by forgiving his father. He said when he forgave his father, two big lessons over there. As he forgave his father, he understood that the reason his father did what his father did to him, his father was a very strict Japanese father, was because the father had a father who was like that. And so the first lesson there is hurt people hurt people. Now, the second thing is when he forgave his father, it fixed something in Ken. It rewired something in Ken. Because he hadn't forgiven his father, he didn't trust older people. But when he forgave his father, he developed a connection with older people. That allowed him to get mentored by Wahei Takeda and other mentors. Wahei Takeda is the Warren Buffett of Japan. Ken Honda went on to become Japan's #1 writer. Ken has 53 books. 1 in 20 Japanese people know Ken Honda. He is the best-selling writer by far in Japan. No one even comes close. Those of you who are Mind Valley members, you can watch that chapter. It's in the Money EQ program. Okay, so lesson I want you to remember. Forgiveness liberates you. Now, the next lesson is this. The other party does not have to forgive. Only you do. Now, I didn't understand this lesson, which is why if you listen to the 6-phase meditation, which is the meditation program I designed, before 2016, in the protocol, I ask you to forgive the other person. Then I ask you to imagine the other person forgiving you. Turns out the science shows this is not necessary. Now, what do I mean by science? Well, when they measured forgiveness in these laboratories and they looked at what is causing alpha amplitude, having the other person forgive you had no bearing. The ideal states, the Zen-like states of monks were coming when you forgave them. You let go. You didn't demand them to forgive you. If they hold on to the hurt, that's their problem. Now, the next lesson is this, and this is really important. Hurt people hurt people. This is a very useful idea. It suggests that the people who hurt you do so because they were hurt. So to understand this lesson, I want to share with you this idea from Neil Donald Walsh. Any Neil Donald Walsh fans over there? So Neil has written the Conversations with God book series. He sold 15 million books. But you see that book, The Little Soul and the Sun? By the way, if you want to teach forgiveness to a young child, buy that. It's a children's book. And in that book, Neil shares a very interesting message. I have sent you nothing but angels. I won't give away the ending of the book. This is basically a book you can read in 20 minutes, right? It's a children's book. But Neil talks about the idea that God sends you whatever you need at the right time. And although that person may look like a devil, he is an angel in disguise. Hurt people, hurt people. Check out the book if you want to go more into that. We're going to be coming back to this thread in a moment. Now, the next thing is this: forgiveness is not dropping the charge. If you forgive someone who has done something criminal, you forgive them, but it doesn't mean you drop the charge. I mean, if you decide that you want to let the thief off the hook or let the cheat off the hook, that's your choice, right? But I believe that to prevent other people from being hurt, you do have to pass on the responsibility to the law, to the judge, to the legal system, and so on. So I had an employee once steal from me. It was a massive, massive, massive fraud. It really, really, really hurt me. I forgave him. He had stolen like about $100,000, white collar crime. But I still reported him to the police so the police could do their investigation. But I forgave him to the point where I know that if I suddenly saw him in court, it wouldn't trigger me in any way. So forgiveness is not dropping the charge. And finally, we come to this, self-forgiveness. We'll be talking about this in a moment. I want to share with you a little video. This is from Marissa Peer's program on Compromised Life on self-forgiveness. Okay, so listen to this and you'll get the essence. Now, I've shared a couple of laws of forgiveness. We'll repeat that, but these are just things to keep in mind based on so that you have an accurate definition of what forgiveness is and is not.
Thing doesn't help the world. You're having more helps the world. So if you've done something you feel bad about, I've done lots of things I feel bad about, but if I'm not going to do them again, then I know that I'm forgiven. If you decide I did something bad, I won't do that again, then I'm forgiven.
So very simple idea there. The first step in forgiving yourself is to say this: if you know you're not going to do it again, then you're forgiven. If you know you're not going to do it again, then you're forgiven. Maybe you made a business mistake. Maybe you acted cruelly to someone. If you know you're not going to do it again, that's the first step in forgiving yourself. But now we're going to go into the deeper method. For those of you who are members who want to check out that particular video from Marissa, I believe it's day 22. Day 22 of rapid transformational hypnotherapy. And then she also provides a hypnotherapy audio that you can use to help you accelerate that process. Okay, so now let's go on to the method. This is the method I'm going to guide you through. It's going to be about 15 minutes, okay? But before I guide you through, I want to teach you the method. Now, this is the part where you want to have your journals open and you want to be taking notes. Those of you who are members, you will see the notes on Insights because I know you guys are going to be sharing notes with each other, okay? Insights.mindvalley.com. The first step is this. Now, this you're going to do with me. You're going to identify the person or act to forgive. So if it's a person, I want you to write down that person's name, okay? Only you are seeing this. I'm not going to ask you to share that. Now, it could also be an act. It could be that the government drafted you to go fight in a war. It's the government that you want to forgive. It could be that, okay, if you look at what's happening in Russia right now with that expose on Putin and corruption, swindling $1 billion, maybe you want to forgive your leader, the leader of your country, for crimes, for corruption, for whatever. So it can be a person or it can be a larger entity, a country itself, a politician. It can also be yourself. Thank you, Porama Malik, for writing that. You can also forgive yourself. But here's the tip. If you're forgiving yourself, write your age at which you're forgiving yourself. This is the first step in forgiveness. You're not forgiving yourself. You're forgiving a younger version of you. So let's say you are 45, as I am, and you're forgiving yourself for a mistake you made at 20. You're not forgiving yourself. You're forgiving 20-year-old Vishen. Write that down. Don't write down Vishen. Write down 20-year-old Vishen. Writing that down already separates the fact that and helps you understand at a certain level that it's not you. It's an earlier version of you. And if you are here, you're someone who is already committed to personal growth. That's why you're here. You're committed to personal growth. I mean, who else would spend 90 minutes on a Saturday listening to me? It's a freaking weekend. Get a life. But if you're here, what this means is that you're committed to personal growth. And that means you're growing every month. You're growing every year. The 20-year-old version of you is a different version of you. It's not you. It's who you were. It was the seedling that became you. That is who you're forgiving. Now, when you view it this way, it already shifts something. Okay, so I'm going to give you a moment to write that down. Now, in this class, as we go forward, if this is something that, if the person you're trying to forgive is something, could be someone that maybe did something really, really, really horribly bad for you, and you're not ready to forgive them yet, then scale back a bit and pick something easier. Maybe you want to forgive the waiter who was rude to you. Maybe you want to forgive a coworker who didn't finish his project on time and caused more work to be dumped on you. Okay, pick something that you know is manageable for this first time. But forgiveness is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, you'll see the better and better and better it becomes. Okay, do you guys have it? Perfect. Thank you, Hausa, for saying don't jump the gun. That's exactly it. This is practice, okay? Now, the second thing is you're going to create a space. So this is step 2 they found in the study of forgiveness. When you go into this meditative state to forgive, you want to create a space for forgiveness. The space is, now there are 2 ways to create a space. You could choose the location where it happened. So I had to forgive, when I was at 40 years of Zen, I was forgiving my ex-school principal for punishing me publicly on a basketball court. For something that I felt was unfair. He made me stand in the sun for like 3 hours. So the space in which I forgave him in my mind was a basketball court. But maybe the space doesn't feel right to you. You can pick a beautiful forest, maybe a stream flowing nearby, maybe the top of a mountain, maybe a beautiful garden, someplace that's calming and nurturing, but someplace that is yours. Okay, somebody asked, what was step 1? Identify the person or act. Step 2, create the space. Remember, in step 1, it can be an earlier version of you, but don't write down your name, write down 20-year-old version of myself. Now, maybe this was something you did last month. Write down December 2020 version of myself. Okay, next you create the space. Now, the next part is this. You're going to see the person in front of you, or you're going to see this younger version of yourself. See that younger version. Imagine what you look like when you were 20 or 35 or whatever age this happened. And you're going to read the charge as if you're in a court of law. Now, I couldn't understand how the scientists were this specific, but apparently they studied this protocol. Read the charge as if you're in a court of law. By the way, the scientist behind this, I want to acknowledge him, is Dr. Hart, H-A-R-D-T, Jim Hart, Biocybernaut Institute. So you're going to read the charge, okay? So you might say, so I'm going to pick something simple. I was really annoyed at myself because I didn't invest in Tesla. I met Elon Musk, I visited him in SpaceX, and I was telling myself, damn, this guy's going to be doing some amazing things. I should invest in Tesla. I stupidly then set it aside. I didn't invest in Tesla. And I realized if I'd invested in Tesla, I would have made millions. I'm so pissed off at myself for pushing that behind. Now I'm deliberately picking something simple here, guys. Practice. So I might see the 2016 version of myself that didn't invest in Tesla and go, you failed to take action on something you committed to do. You failed to put in the 2 hours of work to go to the bureaucracy of opening an Ameritrade account because you were disorganized. You would have rather watch Netflix that night, and you don't like dealing with bureaucracy. Because of that, you lost millions in potential gains from investing in Tesla. You met Elon. You knew his passion. You knew Tesla was going to be a good stock, but you didn't do it because you enjoy doing what you really love. And when it comes to something that you don't love, you sometimes push it aside, such as the bureaucracy of following up with the Ameritrade agent who needed all that damn paperwork from you. So you see where I'm going with that? I'm reading myself the charge. And you're going to be doing the same thing in this exercise. You're going to read the charge. And then you're going to feel the anger and pain. This is step 4. As you read the charge, you bring up the anger and pain. Now, this is counterintuitive. People think if you reflect on the anger, if you reflect on the pain, it actually creates more anger and pain. No, you got to feel it to let go. Okay, imagine this. Clench your fist with me. Clench that fist. Now release. And that's when you really feel the feeling of release. You got to feel the anger and pain, even if it's to yourself. As you read the charge, you feel the anger and pain. This is really important. Now, if you're doing this, if you're listening to me and you're sitting in a bed and you're going to be meditating, you can punch the pillow. You can scream. You can, I mean, let your family know what's going on, but you can scream, you can punch the pillow, you can bang the bed. Don't break anything, but let it out. Now, when we did this in 40 Years of Zen, it was really interesting. They would make you stop in 2 minutes. So they had a timer. So you had to feel the anger and pain, but in 2 minutes, you had to stop. Now, in your case, don't worry about precisely going for 2 minutes. Just feel the anger and pain, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, but no more than 2 minutes. And then you just stop, you just drop it. Punch your pillow, scream, yell out, and then drop it. And then you think of what you've learned in the event. What did I learn? I learned to really take savings and finance seriously. I learned to read some books on the topic. I learned to open up a brokerage account. I learned to understand the concepts of value investing. What did you learn? Now, the example I'm giving you is business failure. You can call it that. Maybe in your case, it was abuse from someone else. Maybe it was something that happened. Think about what you learned. There's an interesting quote from the Rumi that says, "The wound is the part through which the light enters." And what Rumi meant by this is that our wounds, the pain that we experience, often make us stronger. Google, for example, did a study, and Google found in their study that its best employees were not STEM graduates. They were not people with degrees in science, technology, engineering, math, that's STEM. Rather, they were young people who'd experienced some trauma or some pain in their younger years, and as a result, had grown up to be kinder and more compassionate. Pain makes us stronger. As the Rumi said, "O ye who cannot take a good rub, how will you ever become a polished gem?" So no matter how painful it was, there's something you would have learned. What is it? I want you to write that down. So you've chosen the person, you've created the space, you're going to feel the anger. Right now I'm teaching it to you at a waking level. We're going to do it at a meditative level, but I want you to write down 3 things you learned from this. 3 things where this situation, as abusive as it was, made you stronger. And I know this isn't easy. It's not meant to be. But I want you to write down 3 things from this situation. Now, if any of you want to share, if you feel compelled to share and type it out in the comments, please go ahead. If you want to share. Somebody said, "I learned to love myself." Somebody said, "Never lose trust in God." Somebody said, "I learned to watch your tongue." Somebody said, "I learned to love deeper." Somebody said, "I learned to speak up." Someone said, "I learned to trust my intuition." Now you're moving from anger to appreciation. Okay, write down. I'm going to give you 1 more minute. Write down what you learned. If you're done, read the comments. They're coming in fast. We have 5,000 people live right now. I learned to be calm. I learned not to lose faith in God. I learned to be courageous. I learned to trust my inner voice. I learned to trust again. I learned that alcohol does not work. I learned to connect with the universe. I learned to be more humble. I learned to love. I learned gratitude. I learned to drop the bitterness, and that's the alarm. Great. Okay. So now we come to part 6. Now this gets harder. In part 6, after you've made a quick mental note of what you learned, and by the way, in the actual meditation, this could be about a minute. You now come and you got to address this. Think about how the other person may have been hurt in the past. What did this other person experience in the past that made them do what they did to you? Remember Ken Honda's story of his father? He came to understand that his father was an authoritarian because his father lived under a father who was an authoritarian. What do you think the other person may have experienced that made them make this mistake? Now remember, the other person could be your 20-year-old self. You know, what did you go through in life that made you make that mistake at the age of 20? Here you're developing a sense of understanding, a sense of compassion. Okay, write that down. Again, I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to give you about a minute or two. And I want to ask, if you want to participate in the comments, write down what you think the other person experienced without stating their name. Please don't state any names. What do you think the other person experienced that made them, an angel in disguise, hurt you? Someone said the other person had an abusive husband. Someone said the other person was part of a cult. Someone said the other person was so afraid. Oppression in their childhood. They were taught anger by their father. Rejection. Toxic parenting. Insecurity. He was mistreated too. They lost their sister at an early age. He lost his arm and his mother. He felt unloved and neglected by me. The other person was cheated by his customers and employees. The other person had been raised not to love themselves. As one of 7 children, he wasn't made to feel special. So these are all legitimate answers. Now you're not labeling someone else. Rather, you're seeking to understand. You are embracing the understanding of the phrase hurt people, and that hurt gets passed on. Now, when you learn to forgive, one of the things that happens is you're actually cutting the cord of that hurt. So that generational hurt, and sometimes it can be generational, doesn't go to the next generation. You're learning to cut that cord. And this is why forgiveness is something so powerful, so important, not just for yourself, but for the future. When you fully forgive, what happens is you move into a different state of being and you create less hurt in other people. And therefore, you cut the cord of that hurt. Now, the next thing is this. You see it from their eyes. Now it gets one level harder. What this person did to you, I want you to imagine you had like powerful intuitive abilities and you could see it from their eyes. You could, it doesn't mean you understand them or you agree with them, but you can see the pattern of thinking in their head as they did it. Remember I told you about the guy who stole from me 100 grand? I later found out that his wife needed some surgery because there was something going on with the bones in his arm. So I tried to see it from his eyes. Maybe he felt that the only way his wife could get a functioning hand was for him to steal this money. I also found out that his older brother was a criminal who had been jailed. So as I saw it from his eyes, maybe his older brother was the confident one in the family, the successful one in the family because of his swindling. And he somehow had that older brother as a bad role model. And he wasn't smart enough to question that. So you see it from the other person's eyes. Doesn't mean you're agreeing with them. It's rather like you're a computer programmer. You can see the code. You can see the logic that this algorithm is running through in that other person's head. And finally, step 8, you forgive into love. At this point in the protocol, you forgive the other person. Now, when I asked the scientists, forgive into love is so vague. What do you mean by that? They said, you in your mind should be comfortable seeing the other person come towards you, and you should be able to give them a hug, like a genuine hug, like you're seeing an old friend. If you cannot give that hug, you haven't truly forgiven into love. You give them a hug. Now, here's where the protocol gets interesting. But first, before I come to the final step of the protocol, which is so bizarre, I didn't even put it in my slides, but I'm going to tell you. I want to play this one, okay? Day 22, this is Conscious Uncoupling, Catherine Woodward Thomas. This is the program that Simone was talking about earlier. This program is all about uncoupling. So if you're going through a divorce, if you're breaking up, this program takes you through forgiveness for yourself and the other person. So you don't bring that hurt into the next relationship. It's a powerful program. But I want to share with you this little nugget of wisdom from Catherine Woodward Thomas on forgiving into love.
Become a love alchemist is about you refusing to allow someone else's bad or unconscious behavior to define who you are going to be. And I'm pretty sure that that's what Jesus meant when he talked about praying for our enemies, so that we would get bigger than them, so that we would be in charge of our own consciousness and our own destinies, and not the other people. So if you've not yet forgiven yourself and others, it's okay. It makes a lot of sense to me. Dr. Fred Luskin, who is head of the Forgiveness Project at Stanford University, once told me that forgiveness is the very last piece of the puzzle that falls into place when we're grieving the loss of a relationship, largely because what helps us to let something go is the recognition that something valuable and beautiful has come of it.
So let's stop there. Isn't
All
that
of the
beautiful,
work
what Catherine just said? So this is that closing. And we are now going to take you through the exercise. Okay, now I told you there's a last bit. I didn't include the slides for it. Let me tell you what that last bit was. When I was at the Biocybernaut Institute, and it was really weird that scientists spoke about this. Okay, so you went through the entire protocol. Now let me actually take you through the protocol again. You went through the entire protocol. I'm going to repeat the protocol, and the last bit was really, really, really weird, but I'll come to it. First, you identify the person. You guys have done that. Second, you create the space. Third, you read the charge like you're in a court of law. Fourth, you feel the anger and the pain. I'm going to give you a space to feel the anger and the pain. Then you stop. Then you think of what you've learned in the event. You make that list. Remember the quote from Rumi, the wound is the part through which the light enters. Sixth, you think about how the other person may have been hurt in the past. You see it from their eyes. Then you forgive into love, which means to hug. Now, here's the last bit. The last bit is you make the person disappear from your mental screen, your imagination, and you imagine that you have your angel guide or your counselor, if you study Silva Ultramind, whatever is this your guide. In my case, they asked me to create a guide. They said, close your eyes, whatever, and ask for a guide to come to you. My guide was a giant panda for whatever reason. So I had this panda behind me in my meditation, munching on leaves. And after I did the forgiveness ritual, I had to turn to Mr. Panda, and that's what I called him, Mr. Panda, and ask him, have I truly forgiven? And the panda would say yes or no. And if the panda said no, I had to repeat that forgiveness ritual the next day. If the panda looked at me, smiled, put down the leaf, and said, yeah, you're truly forgiven, then I didn't have to go back to forgiving that person. So in some cases, I had to do it 7, 8, 9 times over 9 days because the panda would constantly eat the leaf. And my panda, he had an attitude. Like he would munch the leaf, and I'd ask him, have I truly forgiven? And he wouldn't even take that goddamn leaf out of his mouth. He'd just keep munching it, but shake his head like that. I mean, that's really bad table manners. But that panda was a guide, and that was literally something that the scientists were teaching you. I believe what's going on over there is they're creating a representation of your intuition. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is it. They're creating a representation of your intuition and having you tap into yourself. It's not the panda that's telling you yes or no. It is this inner knowing. But by creating the panda, we're creating a simple method to tap into that inner knowing, so you know whether you repeat the exercise. Now, you can do this exercise. Those of you who practice the 6 phase, if you practice the 6 phase meditation, just say yes. So as you know, phase 3 of the 6 phase meditation is on forgiveness, right? So a lot of you guys practice it. So if you have someone with a really major issue that you need to forgive, you might need to do this in phase 3 of your 6 phase for many days on end, maybe 20, 30 days. But eventually you will forgive that person. But from forgiving that person, you will be able to forgive like so many other things, because forgiveness is a muscle. So that was the key thing. So now let's start moving towards mastery of forgiveness. I'm going to take you through the exercise. Okay. So at this point, what you can do is I'm going to give you a moment to get set up. Okay. And I'm going to get set up with you. You could play some meditative music in the background. You could arrange your pillows. I think the exercise will take about probably no more than 7 minutes. Okay. I did tell you guys, this is a 90-minute training. So I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to go grab a glass of water. I'm going to go adjust my space. Do this with me. I'm going to guide you through the exercise. And if at any point you feel lost, don't worry. You're going to be seeing the slides on screen. Okay. So we're going to start with this one. So we will begin in 30 seconds. Okay, I almost went to the bathroom and peed with my mic on. That would have been the most embarrassing thing today. I would never have been able to forgive myself for that. How on earth do I mute myself? This is really awkward, guys. Okay, screw it. Can't figure this out. If you hear water, just imagine I'm pouring a glass of water.
Vishen, I put you momentarily on mute, so please unmute yourself.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So you guys didn't hear anything, right? Okay, that's good. That's good. The last time this happened, and this has happened, it was doubly embarrassing, because when I got back, someone said, hey, we had the toilet flush, but we didn't hear running water. You didn't wash your hands, did you? So I'm not forgiving that person. Screw you. So what we're going to do now is I want to make sure that you guys have your comfortable spot. We are going to begin. First, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Relax in your comfortable position. I'm going to put you through a relaxation. I want you to imagine your scalp, the top of your head, relax. Imagine someone's giving you a nice head massage. Feel that feeling of relaxation drop gently downwards to your eyes. Feel your eyelids relax. Your eyelids are so relaxed. And feel this feeling of relaxation in your eyelids move gently downwards to your entire face, your mouth, your jaw, your neck, and further downward, your shoulders are now relaxed. your upper arms, your lower arms, all the way down to your fingers. Feel this feeling of relaxation move downwards to your chest, your abdomen, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your toes. Feel your toes relax. You are now in a deeper, relaxed state of mind. As the first step of this exercise, I want you to think of the person that you need to forgive. Keep in mind, this person may be a younger version of yourself. See this person before you. See their face. Know that this is simply a memory. They are not there. They cannot harm you. You are completely safe. Know that your guides, your angels, whatever higher power you believe in, is protecting and watching you. Think of the face of this person. And if this person is yourself, see the younger version of yourself. Observe the hair, the eyes, the clothing, the dress. Now, create a space where the forgiveness ritual will take place. This could be your living room. It could be an imaginary space, maybe a spaceship, maybe a mountaintop, maybe a clearing in a forest. Choose a space where you feel in control, where you feel empowered, where you feel safe. Think of a guide, an angel, your angel guide, whatever deity or religious figure you pray to. Think of your version of my giant talking panda. Imagine this guide behind you, protecting you, helping you create this safe space. Now bring your attention back to the person in front of you, whether it is someone else or it is a younger version of yourself. And now I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes to read the charge. Imagine you're in a court of law and read out to that person what they did to you. Imagine yourself as the judge. You're not emotional. You're not yelling. You're reading out what they did to you. Tell them how they hurt you. Tell yourself why you're disappointed at what you did in the past, if you're forgiving yourself. Read the charge. Let them know how you feel, the pain you experienced. Now, as you're reading the charge, allow yourself to feel the anger. Allow yourself to feel the pain. It's okay to bang on your cushion, punch the pillow. Let them know how they hurt you, how they made you feel. Feel the anger and feel the pain. It's okay to yell. It's okay to scream. But remember, imagine you're in a court of law. You're not touching them. You're not hitting them. You are controlled. That you are confidently expressing your anger and the pain. Okay? And now, as you continue feeling the pain, I'm going to give you 10 to 20 seconds to magnify that pain, to really feel it in your body. Pound your pillow. It's okay to curse. Drop an F-bomb if you must. And feel that pain building up until I say stop. Feel the pain building up. Stop. Now, think about what you've learned from the event. Go within. How did this pain make you stronger, wiser? What did you learn? How did this wounding let light come into you? It's okay to cry. Reflect on how much you've grown and what you learned. And how much better you've become since then. And now, I want you to bring your attention to the other person or that younger version of yourself. Think about how the other person may have been hurt in the past. What did they experience that may have hurt them? What caused them to do this to you? Think about their past, their pain, what they lacked. Now go deeper. See the act from their eyes, knowing the algorithm, the background, the beliefs that were implanted into them. See the algorithm from their eyes. What made them do what they did? Doesn't mean you agreed with them. You're simply seeing, like a detective, what was going on in their head. As if they were a robot. What was that thinking process, as flawed as it was? And now, bring your attention back to yourself. And I want you to forgive into love. Do you feel comfortable having them step forward and giving them a hug? If you can, do so. If you cannot, it's okay. It just means you may need to repeat this exercise again until you get to that level where you can forgive into love, where you can hug them despite what they did to you. Know that they were a flawed human being. Know that they may still hold grudges against you. Know that they may still be imperfect. But knowing that you are going to move into a higher level of understanding. Now release them from the hug and check in with your guide or your avatar or your counselor or your higher intelligence. Have you completely forgiven? Or do you need to do this again? And remember, often the bigger the act, the more painful the act, the more rounds it will take. If you've truly forgiven, you can close the chapter with this person. And I'll shortly be telling you the next step. And now, we're going to open your eyes. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, you'll be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3. Get ready to open your eyes, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. So type in the comment what happened, okay? Share what you experienced. And remember, this protocol is my gift to you. You can repeat this. This is the advanced forgiveness protocol. You can do it in the morning. You can do it as part of the 6th phase. Remember, it goes into phase 3. As you do this frequently, what happens is that you can reduce the time, right? So it may take only 3 minutes. In fact, after you've done this a couple of times, the protocol just flows. It becomes 3 minutes. Sometimes, so many people are saying, you were crying, you felt so much pain, that all of that is normal. Some people are asking, what is the 6th phase? That is an advanced meditation process I invented. It's part of Mind Valley membership. You can find it there. Many people are saying they feel lighter. That's good. That's good, right? Forgiveness literally makes you lighter. Your vertical jump goes up, according to the University of Utrecht. Okay, now come back with me. I want to show you the next level, because this is where it gets weirder, right? So we've learned about forgiveness, but Neil Donald Walsh, who is one of the teachers in Mind Valley, I sat down with Neil once and we were talking about forgiveness, and he says, and I said, Neil, what has been the hardest thing you've had to forgive? And he says, I've learned, Vishen, that I no longer need to forgive. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, the master can never forgive, for the master understands. And I was puzzled by this. So I asked him to explain. And this is what he said. And I put him in front of a camera and I filmed him for our members, right? I want to play that video for you. What Neil is alluding to is that as you practice forgiveness enough, you stop needing to practice forgiveness. When you practice forgiveness enough, even in phase 3 of the 6th phase, you no longer need to forgive, because you've created this way of showing up in the world where nothing hurts you anymore. That is unfuckwithability. And so in phase 3, for example, many masters, many Mind Valley members who have gone to that level, they don't practice forgiveness anymore. They practice healing. They send out healing energy to other people. But listen to Neil explaining this concept. Now, you may not get to this level immediately. It may take a month. It may take a year. It may take 3 years. But you eventually get to a level where you understand everyone and everything, and you become unfuckwithable. And I'm going to teach you a technique to get there. Now, this technique, the first technique I showed you, happens when you're in meditation. This next technique happens when you're eating. Literally happens when you're eating. We're going to come to that in a moment. First, listen to Neil. So this is from Awaken the Species. So again, those of you who are members, you will find these ideas scattered throughout Neil's Awaken the Species program on Mind Valley membership, which basically trains you to be what he calls a highly evolved being, a master walking on earth. Listen to Neil. By the way, I extracted this from the Russian version because we have it in 7 different languages. So that text at the bottom is basically Neil's name in Russian.
Here's a challenging idea for you to look at today. Forgiveness is the biggest obstacle to spiritual growth. You heard me, and you heard me accurately. Let me say it again. Forgiveness is the biggest obstacle to spiritual growth. Let me share with you how that could possibly be true, because most of the world's religions, most of the world's philosophies, most of the world's teachings about how to be a nice person tell us just the opposite, that we must learn to forgive each other. But forgiveness is an obstacle to spiritual growth precisely because forgiveness is a statement of denial of who we really are. So you see, who we really are is an individuation of divinity, or if you please, we are an aspect of God. And God doesn't have to forgive us for anything at all, because there's no way that we can hurt, damage, upset, frustrate, or anger God. Such a thing would be utterly impossible. Just as it would be impossible, by the way, for a 2 or a 3-year-old child in its beauty and in its purity to really hurt or anger or frustrate or annoy or upset you to the point where you felt you had to forgive it. You don't say to a 3-year-old child, I forgive you, for whatever that child may have done, even if it broke your most wonderful vase or your most wonderful possession. You wouldn't say to a 2-year-old, I forgive you. Actually, what you would do if the child began to cry because she or he knew that they had done something that wasn't so good, you would actually comfort them. Not forgive them, but comfort them. And you might say something quite extraordinary in that moment. There, don't cry, sweetheart. Don't cry. It's okay. I understand. I understand how a 2 or a 3-year-old could make such a mistake, could do such a thing. I understand. Understanding replaces forgiveness in the mind of the master. When you understand how it could be possible for a person to do anything at all, you no longer need to forgive them. You simply understand. And your understanding allows you to move into acceptance and to once again express who you really are, which is the source of unconditional love. This is how God interacts with us. And this is how we are invited to interact with all those whose lives we touch and all those who touch our lives as well. So the next time you're confronted with either a memory of a past event that you really haven't let go of, or something that's happening right now in your life that's not so pleasant and not so nice, remember this. Understanding replaces forgiveness in the mind of the master. Demonstrate understanding, and you will demonstrate divinity, and your soul's agenda in that moment will be complete.
I love that. Isn't that insanely powerful? This is why Neil is one of my favorite teachers. So the Awaken the Species program, by the way, guys, those of you who are members, do the Awaken the Species program. It freaking just changes your life. It takes you to a whole different level. It's 21 days, I believe. It's one of the toughest programs in Mind Valley, but it teaches you to operate and live life like a saint, and it makes you unfuckwithable. A lot of people don't do it because they think it's just about compassion and kindness, and they're like, well, I'm already kind. No, it makes you unfuckwithable. If you like that, that was just a taste of that program. Now, all of these, by the way, are in Mind Valley membership. Now, also for members, don't forget, we just released Gelong Thupten's Becoming More Loving program that is from the Buddhist monk, trains you on compassion. And for those of you who really need to forgive because of a relationship issue, remember what Simone said, do the conscious uncoupling program. So I would suggest if you're feeling a lot of pain from a breakup, start with conscious uncoupling. If you want to go into forgiveness, but you have maybe only 7 days, do Gelong Thuptens. It's like 2 hours over 7 days. But if you want to walk like a master, go into Neil Donald Walsh. And if you want to understand forgiveness for manifesting, do Money EQ. So many people who do, that's the Japanese guy, Ken Honda, right? That's where you apply all of these tools to improve your manifesting. Remember my story of my book hitting the bestseller list? So I want you to understand, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're connected deeply in ways that we cannot see. But so many of us work on the exterior. We think our money, our life, our happiness is about how fast we can get work done, how optimized we are, what, the stuff, how we connect with other people. But there's so much about connection, about optimization, about life that's happening within the unseen. And forgiveness is that part to the unseen. So, by the way, I want to do something special for you guys. For all of you who are members, we are going to do I'm going to make the Be Extraordinary seminar free for you. So this is a 5-hour seminar. We're going to make it free for all members. We're going to deliver this over Zoom. The Be Extraordinary seminar is a seminar that was taking place all around the world before the pandemic happened. We had instructors all around the world, and you learn the 6-phase meditation. You go deep into forgiveness, but you go from forgiveness, you also learn, so there are 6 phases, right, to mastery. Forgiveness is phase 3. You go into the phase of gratitude, you go into the phase of compassion, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then you go into advanced manifesting, creating luck, and then connecting with the divine. Okay, so when you put all of 6 of these together, you start changing the way you work. So that seminar will teach you that. So I just spoke to Wasila Hamachi. She's the Dutch parliamentary member who teaches the seminar in Amsterdam. She's an amazing teacher. She's going to conduct the seminar. We are doing a 5-hour version. It's going to be on Zoom. We're opening it up to 5,000 people. No cost to you. All of you who are members, the seminars typically Depending on the country you take it in, it's 200 to 500. It's going to be free for members. Okay, it's happening February 20th. So I'm really excited. Now, those of you who are not members, I'm going to tell you how to get into this seminar. So these are all actual pictures from the seminar. Of course, because of COVID, we've not been able to do it in a while. So it's going to be happening via Zoom. This is that's Wasila. She's the woman on the side wearing the white dress, and this is some of the students in Amsterdam. The seminar is really, really powerful because do you know, look at that picture in the middle. So by the way, these are all celebrities who use the 6 phase, and they all go through that forgiveness phase in level 3. Tony Gonzalez just spoke about it in the New York Times. He's one of America's top 100 footballers. Pop star Miguel mentioned in Billboard magazine that before he gets on concert, he and his 30-person crew practiced the 6 phase. And Bianca Andreescu, she is a 16-year-old student. Sorry, she started this at 16. She's now 20. But Bianca Andreescu won the US Open, and she's a graduate of this seminar. She learned creative visualization. She visualized herself beating Serena Williams. And at the age of 19, she beat Serena Williams and won the US Open. When they asked her how, she held up The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, my book, and you can see it on her Twitter feed. She tweeted about the seminar. That's what she said, right? She took it in Toronto. So this seminar that has literally caused one of the students to win the US Open and beat Serena Williams, something that is unheard of in sports, going to make it available to you. And what you will learn is not just a forgiveness protocol. You'll go deeper in that, but you'll learn spiritual stacking, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, manifesting, creating luck, creating synchronicity, and then connecting with higher intelligence, stacking that into a powerful process to bring into your life so every aspect of your life lives. So thank you, members. We always launch new surprises for our members. This is going to be available to all our members. Okay, now, those of you who are not members, before I teach you the eating technique, remember, we have a final part to cover. I'm going to teach you a technique to apply when you're eating to move you towards mastery. If you want to be a member of Mind Valley, go to /membership and sign up. If you sign up before midnight tomorrow, we'll give you the seminar tickets free. Okay, and our membership is very, very, very affordable. It's only $99 a month. It's only $99 a month, or it's $499 a year. That's it, $99 a month. So maybe you want to do it for 1 month, sign up for $99, you get this seminar, you're really getting a $300 seminar free. But I can tell you, you're going to be a member for life because Mind Valley content is so good. In 1 month, you're going to transform so much. You'll stay the next month and stay the next month and stay the next month, and you'll probably bring in 5 friends. Mind Valley is probably the best product you can spend money on. So you can go try it out. The free seminar is available to you. Just go to mindvalley.com, click on membership, and you will see that you can sign up $99 a month, or you can sign up for a year. Then it's like $40 a month. Okay, that's less than $1.20 a day. Now, by the way, those of you who are members, if you want to, would you mind sharing if you think people should sign up for Mind Valley membership, all access membership? Just type it out there, okay? So no pressure, sign up. And by the way, I literally mean no pressure. Now, check out what the members are saying. Yes, totally worth it. Hell yes, 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 yes. Or maybe you want to say heaven yes. So you look at what the members are saying because they know how powerful this is. Now, my goal is to get Mind Valley to 1 billion people. That's why we provide so much information for so low. So, you can go and spend $99 on one course from another, provider, or in 1 month, you can get all the courses I spoke about unlocked for you, plus access to that seminar happening on February 20th. Okay, so cancel after a month if you don't like it, but you won't be able to cancel because it's going to be the best investment you've spent money on. But, I leave that to you. Now, maybe some of you are in a situation where 99 is a lot. That's perfectly okay. You can get it for 2 weeks completely free. We're so confident in our product that we do something that very few other companies do. You can test drive anything. So you sign up, and then you can cancel anytime in 15 days. You just log into your account, and you'll see a refund button. Step 1, step 2, step 3. That's it. 1 click, the money goes back to you. You don't have to write an email. You don't have to pick up the phone. Fully automatic. Okay. So if you want to know more about that, just go to mindvalley.com/refund. You'll see the instructions there. So go sign up. Do it now as I'm talking, so you don't forget about it, because this will change your life. Now, when you sign up, we'll send you the email about the seminar on the 20th. Be sure to, so the seminar is around 5 hours. Be sure to block out 5 hours. And we'll send you the recordings as well if you cannot make it on the 20th. And the other thing we will do is when you become a member, we will, I'm going to give you a path right now on what to do, okay? If you really want to go deep in forgiveness, because you want to become more loving, take the Becoming More Loving program by the Buddhist monk Gelong Tubten. If you want to heal from a past breakup, you know, one of the biggest things that often people need to forgive is breakups. I went through a divorce and it was a conscious uncoupling. In other words, my ex-wife and I, we stayed friends. She's still part of Mind Valley. We hang out all the time. We support each other. No lawyers, nothing. And that should be the normal way of living. But do Conscious Uncoupling by Catherine Woodward Thomas. At least do the first 7 days and heal yourself from the pain of breakup, because that's going to help you with all your future relationships. And third, you can do Neil Donald Walsh's program on Awaken the Species that makes you, literally makes you walk the world like a saint. And the other thing you can do is Ken Honda, Money EQ. But in reality, there are so many programs. Now, let's come to the diner technique. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to teach you the diner technique. Okay, so we have still over 4,000 people here. So the diner technique is this, right? You want to train yourself to move from forgiveness to understanding, forgiveness to understanding. So a friend of mine observed me doing the diner technique. And this person couldn't understand why. So we were in a restaurant. The pandemic had been temporarily lifted, and you had to walk in the restaurant with a mask. And when you sit down, you put the mask aside. All the waiters and waitresses are wearing masks. And we were trying to get breakfast. And what happened is that I asked for a coffee, and the coffee came 20 minutes later, really late, and it was cold because the waiter had prepared the coffee, then left it on the bar, the counter, forgot to bring it to me, and then go, oh, I forgot this guy's coffee, and brought it to me cold. And so after waiting 20 minutes just to get a serving, I got my coffee and it was cold. So I had to send it back and say, hey, do you mind if I get a warmer coffee? And then I got my food, and I love guacamole, but the guacamole was missing. So I had to ask for that guacamole. I'd ordered a side of extra guacamole. Now, at the end of that entire experience, and the restaurant was crowded and there were like people standing in line, and I didn't even have a table. I was sitting by the bar. I gave that waitress a 20 euro tip. So my friend said, service was horrible. Why a 20 euro tip? And I said, because she did such a great job. And I said, and my friend couldn't understand why. So I explained to my friend, I said, I'm practicing this thing where I try to put myself in the shoes of another person. And Neil Donald Walsh, he teaches this in the program. He says, when you see someone else that's doing something that's unpleasant to you, okay, such as this waitress, you mentally, you just watch them and you mentally tell yourself, there I go again, being forgetful. There I go again, forgetting the guacamole. There I go again, making the coffee, then leaving it on the counter for 20 minutes while this poor guy is waiting. So why do you do that? That thing, there I go again, reminds you that we are all one, that at a larger level, we are all deeply connected. That waitress and you are two souls having a shared human experience, but are connected in a deep way. And when you do that enough, your anger, your resentment shifts. You don't even need to forgive that person because you never got angry with that person in the first place. Rather, remember what Neil said. The master doesn't need to forgive, for the master understands. You have started to understand. And as I said that, I only had to say it once because it comes with practice. I began to understand that that waitress is doing a damn good job. Look, the country was in lockdown. She's earning minimum wage. Imagine maybe she has kids. She doesn't know when the restaurant is going to open again. She doesn't know when she's going to earn an income. Then all of a sudden the restaurant opens again. Everyone's rushing to the restaurant because the lockdown is over. She has to wear a mask for 10 hours because she's not allowed to take off that mask. Have you tried like wearing a mask for 10 hours? I had the luxury of being able to take out my mask when I sit down to eat. She doesn't get that. And then the restaurant is overly packed. It's completely crammed. She's moving around in an unsafe condition and she's still doing her job. So who gives a fuck if she forgot to bring me warm coffee? Because she just corrected that. And I left her a 20 euro tip because she did an outstanding job. That is what happens when you apply this technique. There I go again. The master doesn't need to forgive because the master understands. Try that with your Uber driver. Try that with the waitress who forgets your order. Try that with anyone who does anything that ruffles you or that would have ruffled an earlier version of you. And it will change your life. But not only that, you will become a force for so much good in the world. And that's what I want from the hundreds of thousands of people who are studying on Mindvalley. Neil Donald Walsh told me something else when he was, so what was happening is we were having a big event in Barcelona, and Neil had flown down, and he was speaking to all our members. He said, I remember there was a moment, and I'm sorry, I tear up when I talk about this. Someone raised her hand and she says, Neil, what do I do in those moments when I'm feeling like stressed out and feeling anxiety and feeling worried about the day? And he said, very simple. I want you to remember this. Your life is not about you. Rather, your life is about the lives of everyone you touch. And when you remember that your life is not about you, but your life is about the lives of everyone you touch, you will never wake up feeling anxious or worried or sad again. And then he left us with this parting advice. When you walk into a room, walk in to heal the room. When you walk into a diner, walk in to heal the diner. And he says that energy that you put in, that tip that you give the waitress, won't just release you. It will shift the dynamic of everyone there, because we are all one. And that's what I want you guys to do. If you enjoyed this masterclass, look, firstly, become a Mindvalley member. It will change your life. Did you feel that this already shifted you in some way? People are saying they feel like crying, then good. Become a Mindvalley member and watch what happens next. And again, I'm not asking you to test it out, right? Do get it for a year, do it for a month, but please do it right now, right? Commit that to yourself because it will change you. If you can't afford $99 a month for all of this transformation, that's okay. But practice this technique and let's get kindness into the world, because the world needs it right now more than ever. So many people are losing their jobs. So many people are facing anxiety. And you guys are the people who showed up. You guys are the people who showed up. You're here. You already have won most of the battle. Often when people become Mindvalley members, the first thing that happens is they get the membership, and then they're like, well, how do I start, right? Or they are worried to become a member because they're thinking, am I actually going to start? Or is this just going to be something else that I buy and I put aside? Well, you guys have already proven that you're committed. You've already proven that you are starters because you showed up. So you've already finished 50% of the battle. When you become a member, you're going to be diving into this, right? If this conversation shifted your life, imagine what happens when you go through that 7-day transformation with Gelong Tupten and so on. So that's what I wanted to leave you with. I want to actually share my screen. Let me actually show you some of the cool stuff that we're bringing together as a member. You guys want to stay and see some insider stuff? Let me share my screen right now, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to Mindvalley Home. Okay, I'm going to go to Mindvalley Home. And by the way, to become a member, all you got to do is go to mindvalley.com. Just go to mindvalley.com. You can read everything over here, all the programs. You can browse the programs. They're all there. You can, and then if you scroll down below, it just says become a member now. And then because we want you to know what you're getting into, we show you, there's a beautiful video here of all our members celebrating each other. You can see all the programs, all the teachers that you're learning from. I've only mentioned a few. Right now we have 12,000 case studies. So it's really, really dynamic. You can see so many case studies. And you can see all the programs you're getting, like literally all the best programs in personal growth. The ones that we're talking about, most of them are under the spirit and soul category. And when you're on a member, you're getting, about $12,000 worth of programs for $99 a month. And then as you become a member, you also get invited to all the live calls. You'll be invited to come and join me and Matthew McConaughey. We're also going to give you a meditation app. So we have a private meditation app that uses altered state training and different frequencies to actually put you into different states of mind. And everything is there. Then you just click down below and sign up for $99 a month or $41.60. And so everything is available to you. I'll show you what the online platform looks like, but you can also go to stories.mindvalley.com. You can choose your country. So let's put in Lithuania, okay? You can choose your country, and you can actually see other members from Lithuania. So you kind of get a sense of who our members are. Whoa, okay, not all the most appropriate photos, but our members, like they change their body, they change their lives. So I guess a lot of Lithuanians are into health and wellness, that you'll see members from all around the world. And now we have a private social network, so all our members connect, you find study groups and so on. So it's a really, really, really beautiful community. Now, when you become a member, you will get a login to go into Mind Valley Home. Okay, firstly, we also will create a welcome guide for you. By the way, any of you can go and check out this welcome guide, /welcome. It explains everything, how to use the platform and everything is on this welcome guide. That's our private social network. It's really, really, really cool. So you can log into Mind Valley Home. You can see all of the programs. This, by the way, guys, those of you who are members, this is the new program by Nurial on focus and indistractable. So these are all the programs I'm studying right now. There's so many programs. It's crazy. So these are so our programs are called quests because it's not online learning per se. You sign up on a 7, 14, 21 or 28-day quest to transform yourself in some way. And then it's just 20 minutes a day. Can you spend 20 minutes a day? Almost everyone says yes, right? So let's say you decide to go into 10X, which is our quest on muscle building. 20 minutes a day, you learn the exercise, you learn the methodology, look, 19, 15, and you're literally learning one of the most advanced fitness programs in the world. But what we do is all our programs are best in class in the world. So for example, if you want to go into forgiveness, you will probably want to take this program, Becoming More Loving. This is the one, and then when you log in, you will see the chapters, the classes. See, there's a PDF workbook that you get. This is the one by that Buddhist monk. But I want to show you something really, really, really cool. Okay, so I'm going to connect this to my phone right now, and let me see if I can share my phone, because this is what blows people away. We don't even really talk about this. It's all hidden, but it's just like a little surprise for our members, because we do all of these like secret apps and secret discoveries. Okay, so I'm going to share my phone and I'm going to show you something really cool, because there's still like 3,400 people here. Alrighty, this is my phone. So we have 3 apps. So the first app is, of course, the Mind Valley app. So when you're a member, everything that you need is on the Mind Valley app. You can access all your content. There's so many programs coming up. Okay, and then on the app, you can also see all the live calls. That's Simone's kickboxing. Look at all the speakers we bring in. There'll be a new member orientation for all the new members who join. You will join me for orientation on Thursday. And then after orientation, a special guest speaker, the Matthew McConaughey, right? One of Hollywood's hottest actors. So I can't wait to have you guys join. So these are all live interactive classes. When you become a member, we also, our algorithm will recommend programs for you. And then in addition to quests, we have so many really, really, really cool. So just like on Netflix, you have movies and series. If you want short form learning on things such as branding, astral projection, look at all of these speakers. That's Mark Manson, who wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Sonia Choquette, who has like 25 books on intuition. Jeffrey Pearlman, he started Zumba, one of the hottest brands in America. So all of these are like short episodes. Let's look at this one. This is on cult branding from the guy who started Zumba. You can see the production quality of these episodes. They are just really, really well done. So all of this is in membership, but that's just the beginning. The main thing about Mind Valley is our community is so connected, like it's crazy connected. So this is our private social network. We don't like being on Facebook. So members are supporting each other. And one of the things is there are all of these different networks, and you get friend requests from other members. So these are friend requests from other members. Carolina Rhoda, she used to work for me. So you see friend requests, and you can even find members to meet with. So I'm going to set that I am willing to travel 100 miles to meet someone. And look, these are all people 100 miles around from me that I could meet up with. I've actually had coffee or met up for lunch with many of these people. right? So you can see people and you can connect with them. Let's look at this guy, Daniel Lemmy. So you can see he's an educator. You can see what he does for work and so on. Now we're actually building dating features into the app, business networking features. So now we're connecting our members with jobs, with potential friendship. One of the coolest ways where people become friends, and you can actually predict who you're going to become friends with from one's passion for learning. And so what happens is, because we have all of that data, we're actually able to see, I just got a friend request from Laris. And then there are all of these member events, right? So so we can predict who you're going to become a friends with. And in 6 months, we're launching a friend recommendation engine. And then all our members organize everything from like magic shows. Look, 112 people are attending Aiden's magic show just for fun. 72 people are going to Pablo's dance party. So all of these are available. So members get so connected. And then of course we have like all of these like wonderful meetups around the world, from in Switzerland and so on. There's the seminar. So the Be Extraordinary seminar, you can see Saturday, February 20th, 200 people have already signed up for it. And we have all of these incredible trainings happening. So that's it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. So the next thing, and this is what we're launching next, is an altered state app. So, we were talking about forgiveness. The forgiveness protocol is going to be on this app. So let's take a look at this. So these are some of the meditations with Neil Donald Walsh. Okay, so you can listen to this meditation with Neil and check out how advanced this app is. So you have Neil's voice, but maybe you want to listen to Neil's voice with the sound of water, or this binaural track, or the sound of fire. I like crackling fire. So I'm going to start a session with Neil. This is Neil guiding me in Awakening the Species. Now you can't hear it because Zoom doesn't allow this, but I can play the meditation with the sound of fire. And I can change that track. I can change it to water, to advanced binaural beats. So there are all of these advanced tools that help you transform your mind and your soul. All of these available to members. So again, you're getting 3 different apps, all deeply connected. And I'll stop sharing my screen right now because personal messages are coming in. So guys, thank you so much for showing up. We're at 3,000 members, since there's so many people here, and probably another 5,000 or so on YouTube. I will stay back with you guys and answer questions. Just remember, go to mindvalley.com, become a member. All of this is unlocked for you. No commitment. You can one-click cancel in 15 days. But I'm telling you, try to cancel. You won't be able to, because Mindvalley, to our members, people say it's the best money they've ever spent. Because what other thing could you buy for 99 bucks that in 1 month makes you a different person, that in 1 month accelerates your transformation? You're manifesting more. You have greater peace of mind. You're showing up differently in the world. You're tipping waiters differently. And that's why I'm so excited about what we do. And I live my life to get this out to as many people as possible. Let's bring on Annie for questions, and let's do our Q&A.
Wonderful.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Vishen. Thank you for the amazing training. I was taking notes as I have to do some forgiveness myself, so this was very timely. Regarding the questions, there's a few that have got a lot of votes, and I know that you touched upon them during the training, but let's just go a little bit deeper if we can.
Okay, Annie, just before you do that, several members are supporting other members. So guys, I want you to just check out insights.mindvalley.com. This is available to our members. So you can see Thomas has already written out the entire protocol, the Dyna technique. Thank you so much, Thomas. If you like it, give him an upvote. And then, Blair, Coach Blair, thank you so much. He's written his version of the forgiveness technique. Carrie Fisher, Carrie, so good to see you again. Carrie already has some notes. So we don't want to, have one person sharing notes. You can read several versions of people's notes. Maybe different people capture different nuances of it, and vote up for the person you like. Now, if you see a note you like, let's look at this one by Carrie. Okay, you can just follow Carrie. You can follow Carrie. You can see all her notes from other Mindvalley events. And what we are building over here is actually, we call it the brain subscription engine. It's getting more advanced. We just launched it internally a few weeks ago, but soon you'll be able to share notes with each other and subscribe to each other's brain. So when you become friends with another member, as they learn, if they read a book, their notes become available to you. so that we can do better masterminding. We're finding that this is going to be so powerful, especially when you're a CEO and you're learning from other CEOs, when you're a graphic designer and you're learning from other graphic designers. So you can write notes on just about anything. So, you can write a note on, let's say, conversations with God, right? See, it pulls up all the books in the world, conversations with God, and then you can share notes if you're reading conversations with God. You can share notes with other members. And you can also share notes on Mind Valley programs. And soon you'll be able to share notes on Zoom talks, on videos, and even in virtual reality. That's coming soon. So thanks, guys. Just check it out, insights.mindvalley.com, to get the notes from this class. Amy?
Wonderful, Vishen. So the first question was from Kristen. It's the most voted one. And she's asking, what if we feel that something is unforgivable? How do we go about it?
Well, Kristen, firstly, that's a really good question. Remember what Nelson Mandela said, right? There are things that are unforgivable. Murder is unforgivable. But actually, it's not. It's unpardonable, but it is forgivable. Forgiveness and pardoning are two different things. Look, we are not judges. We are not policemen. We are not the lawmakers. Okay, maybe you are, but most of us aren't. When somebody does something that is really, really, really bad, in the laws of human nature, you're not pardoning them. But in the laws of the spirit, you are forgiving them. Because you can, let's go with the most unimaginable task, murder. Okay? If you, let's say you know someone who murders someone you know, okay? It's okay for you to help the police in that investigation, to ensure that the murderer gets arrested, that the murderer ends up behind bars, and this murderer cost you a friend. But if you carry the hate towards the murderer, you're carrying a burden. You can forgive the murderer by applying the forgiveness protocol, which means you understand that this is a flawed human being who has gone through probably some horrible shit in their lives. You understand that and you release them. You don't have to think about them again. You don't have to hate on them. But at the same time, you still cooperate with the investigation. Forgiveness and pardoning are two different things. Ken Honda in Money EQ, one of our Mind Valley programs, explains it this way. He says, as long as we haven't forgiven, we have to take part of our energy and use that energy on something else. In this case, guarding us from that murderer, putting hate on that murderer, seeking revenge on that murderer. But when we forgive, that we get that energy back. And this is why forgiveness actually helps with alpha amplitude, with improving your intuition, with improving your manifesting, with improving the luck you experience in your life. You're bringing your spiritual energy back to you. And so everything is forgivable. But yes, not everything is pardonable.
I really like that differentiation that you offered, Vishen, and actually clicked in for me as well. Very powerful. And both Denise and Carrie Fisher have asked the same question, and it's in our top 5, which is, how can we know if we have truly forgiven ourselves or someone else?
So that's where you ask the giant panda. You don't know, but your intuition knows. So in the Silva Ultramind technique, okay, you learn Silva. Silva Ultramind is on Mind Valley, and it teaches you how to develop waking intuition, right? Now, intuition isn't binary. It's not you have it or you don't. We have different degrees of it. If you're a Mind Valley member and you've done Silva, your intuition is probably like really, really, really strong. To the point where, if you're interviewing someone, you instantly know yes or no, typically within the first minute. But all of us have intuition, and it is expanded and more accurate when we are in levels of meditation. This is why we do forgiveness in meditation. Okay, so this is why you're not doing forgiveness on a journal. You're in meditation with your eyes closed. And after you've forgiven that person, you imagine that your guide, the guide could be your dead grandmother. It could be Jesus. It could be a fictional character, right? Like a counselor. And you ask that person, have I truly forgiven X? And if your guide says yes, done, and you can move on. If your guide says no, then you repeat. You don't judge yourself. You just repeat it the next day. That's how you know. You ask the guide. That was the technique that I learned in the Bio-Cybernaut Institute. And by the way, as hokey as this sounds, it was scientists who were explaining this to me because they found that this was a legitimate technique.
And I really love let's ask the panda technique
The
to
panda,
find out
right. Yeah, ATP,
whether we
ask the
got there.
panda. Remember that. The reason I shared the vision of the panda is because we remember weird things. And every time you see a panda, you will remember this technique. By the way, create your own panda, right? You don't have to like, and don't feel bad if you borrow my panda.
Wonderful. And another question that we got from Vadehi, he asked, how do we forgive ourselves? And I know we went deep into this during
We went
the
deep
training.
into it, right?
Yes.
Same
is there
thing.
anything
First part
else
is
you want to add?
disassociation. You're not forgiving yourself. You're forgiving a younger version of you. Disassociate. You're not forgiving yourself. All of you who are here are people who practice personal growth, which is why you're the perfect Mind Valley members. You're growing every day. If you get into Mind Valley, you're going to be studying, you're going to be growing. But the fact that you showed up to this means that you're people who embrace personal growth. You are not, I bet you are not the same person you were even a month ago. Because you're always learning, you're always growing, you always have accumulated wisdom. Transformation is the slow buildup of wisdom and life experience, and as it shifts your world perspective. Who you are today is not who you were even a month ago. So who you're forgiving is not you. It's an earlier version of you. Oh, I see Eve in the background. Hey, Eve, you want to come and say hi to people since you helped me get 5,000 people signed up for this? You want to come say hi? Okay, Eve is going to come and say hi.
And in the meantime, Vishen, something that is actually in line with this is one of the questions was, how can we bring this content to teenagers?
Okay. So you want to say hi to everyone? Oh, yeah, Eve, we're talking about how do we bring this content to teenagers. What do you think? Do you think teenagers would be into forgiveness protocols? What do you think?
Maybe.
She said maybe. Yeah. Are you sleepy? Did you just wake up from sleep?
Yeah.
She just woke up from sleep. Look at that. Oh.
Hi, Eve.
Say hi to everyone.
Hello.
Do you know how many people are there watching? 2,500. Can you count to 2,500? No? Okay. High five. Okay. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Eve.
How can we, well, you can teach the protocol to teenagers. By the way, next month we launch Mind Valley for Teens. It's going to be part of Mind Valley membership. So those of you who just became members, we're going to have several programs for teenagers available to you. We actually surveyed teenagers. So we do this big event around the world when the pandemic isn't happening, and Mind Valley members come with their entire family, and we provide classes all the way from 3 years and upwards to classes for teens. And the teenagers, it turns out, the biggest area of personal growth they want to grow in is communication. You know, when we asked the teens, how do you want to grow? It wasn't, oh, I want to manifest more. It was, I want to ask that girl out. I want to share my dreams more with my parents. So we just launched a communication program for teens with a TED fellow, Jamia Drummond Bay. It's going to be available. You'll actually see it in coming soon on the Mind Valley directory. It's going to be available in February for all our members. So do that. Then there's Be Extraordinary for Teens. That's another program for teens. And then there's Super Brain for Teens. Okay, so in Be Extraordinary for Teens, we'll cover forgiveness. We'll go a little bit into it. But whatever you just learned, you can teach that to teenagers as well. Make your teens unfuckwittable so they never have to get bothered by bullies, and that they walk the world in a different way and they grow up to be amazing adults.
I have 2 more questions that I'd like to share with you, Vishen. The first one from Joan is asking, can I just forgive? Shouldn't I heal myself first?
Forgiveness is healing yourself. Healing is a very big word. It's a large bucket. Forgiveness is healing yourself. But that's a good question.
And as a follow-up question from Leah.
Oh, sorry, Lisa. Lisa said, how do I gift Mind Valley? Lisa, I know I wish we had a friendlier gifting mechanism, but right now just sign up and then change the email address, right? Or when you sign up, just use your friend's email address, or sign up with your email address, and then you can give your friend the login and they can change it to their email address and then they can take over. Okay.
A question from Leah who is asking, how can we integrate forgiveness in our long-term journey?
So do the 6-phase meditation. So if you are, if you're part of Mind Valley, you can do the 6-phase meditation. Now I want to show you, those of you who have become members, let me show you where to find it, okay? It's on our meditation app, which is Omvana. I want to show you how to access it so you guys all know. So the 6 phase meditation, that's the one that I shared, that footballer was talking about it. And it's just really, really, really popular. Millions of people do the 6 phase meditation, but I designed it based on all of my research on meditation. So when you go to Omvana, click on classes, you'll see a class called 6 phase. That's it. And look how beautiful it is. So you'll see the 6 phase guides you through 6 phases. The first phase is compassion. You learn a scientifically proven protocol that's based on Zen loving kindness meditation to make you more compassionate. Then you go into gratitude. This again is a science proven protocol. Then you go into forgiveness. And then you go into envisioning the future, your perfect day, which is a luck creation protocol. This one is a little bit more spiritual. And then you go into the blessing. So when you go into forgiveness, what happens is you are stacking on 6 different practices in 2 minutes each, 2 to 3 minutes each. So the entire meditation is 15 to 20 minutes, right? Counting the time you go in and you go out. Now you do this every day, or every other day. I do this like 5 times a week. The rest of the time I might be doing a different meditation, but 5 times a week. And everything is integrated into this. So this is the most popular meditation in Mind Valley. And the whole class is here. You start on day 1 and we teach you the first protocol. Day 2, we layer on the second protocol. Day 3, we layer on the third protocol. By day 7, you know the 6th phase and you can bring it into your life.
And I love this question from Christina because it's so genuine. And she's asking, why is forgiveness so hard?
It's only hard because you haven't trained the muscle. Imagine if you go to a gym and you have to lift a 20-kilogram dumbbell, right? The first time it's going to be hard. So you don't start with 20 kilograms. You may start with 2. And then as your muscles grow, you start with 3, you start with 4. You keep getting, your muscles grow very, very, very fast. In Mind Valley, for example, we find that using our 10X protocol, we typically create, for people my age, 50% strength increases in 4 weeks, right? So it's hard right now, but very rapidly it becomes easy. But you start with forgiving the Uber driver who dropped you in the wrong location. You start because he was too like distracted to check his Google Maps. You start with something really basic and you practice it. And every day you try to forgive something a little bit harder until you get to that person that you thought was unforgivable. And by the time you get there, it's easy. And then you move to the level of understanding how masters operate.
I loved your response because you actually already covered what I wanted to ask you next, which was going to be my last question to you from Louisa. Mm-hmm. And the question was, what if I don't feel like forgiving someone? And I love because you just beautifully covered all the way to get there.
It's your choice. It's your choice. But know that you may be doing yourself a disservice by splitting your energy. If you haven't forgiven them, part of that energy that should be yours is on them. And that, according to most spiritual philosophers, is not ideal. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's less than ideal.
Thank you, Vishen. I think we have covered all the top questions that we got throughout the training.
Okay, awesome,
and
awesome.
We still have 2,000 people. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, maybe there's some questions on becoming members. Anybody got any questions on signing up for Mind Valley and becoming part of our community? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm seeing people are raising their hands. So type in your question in the comments, okay? And a lot of people are raising their hands.
I have seen a very common question, which is, could you just confirm that it's possible to pay monthly? This came up many times in the comments.
You can. We literally just launched this. It used to be, Mind Valley membership used to be around $2,000. Then we brought it down to $1,500. Then as more people signed up, we brought it down to $999. Then it was $600. Then it's $500. Then now you can choose $500 a year or monthly, right? As more people sign up, we're bringing the price lower and lower and lower because my goal is to get this to 1 billion people. I want Mind Valley to be the greatest school on the planet because our teachers are the greatest people on the planet. And this wisdom is the greatest stuff on the planet for true human health and happiness and well-being. I want to create paradise on earth. And that's why we keep lowering the price every year. It's not because our quality is getting better. If anything, we are accelerating innovation like crazy. Some of you guys may remember the bet I launched at Harvard last month, saying that by 2025, Mind Valley will be able to provide the average person the same advantages in life of having a prestigious Harvard degree, but for 1/100 the cost. Harvard is 50,000 a year. We're 500 a year, but we teach you what truly matters. So there's a whole portfolio of entrepreneurial training, of fitness training. You don't just become more spiritually sound. Every aspect of your life improves. And we have 31 new programs launching this year, all for our members. Plus the AI, the friend introduction service, the conscious dating service, all of that is coming in. We're not just making people happier and smarter. We're getting people more connected. We're getting people to fall in love. We're getting people to help heal and transform each other.
We got a question from Carl. I'd love for you to share about this. Can we buy the yearly program for my team?
For your team?
Yes,
when you can.
Sharing.
Right. Just go to Mindvalley. Oh yeah, we are huge. We are huge in terms of Mindvalley for business. And there are big discounts for teams. Go to mindvalley.com business. Okay. And then sign up there, mindvalley.com/business. Sign up there and then choose the size of your team. So your team could be 200 people. It could be 300 people. When you buy it for more than 5 people, if you buy it for more than 5 people at a time, it's only $299 a year. And so, that's what you want to do.
Someone is asking, Jody is asking, to have access to Omvana, do I need to be a member?
Well, you can buy Omvana individually. I think it's like $99 a year. But if you are a member, it's included. Omvana is completely included. When you're a member, all our subscriptions are included. Little Humans, we're about to launch a yoga. We just acquired a yoga company. So all of that is just going to be available to our members. We have a new spiritual company that we just acquired. All of their content is going to become available to our members. But the problem right now is there's so much content, right? It's going to be like Netflix. How do you know what class to start with? So we're building an AI that basically learns from you and gives you the right content every single day that you need. So the AI, you get to put your goals into Mindvalley. As you're reading a book, as you're studying, you put down your notes into Mindvalley. We don't see it, the AI sees it. And the AI is a non-human, but it's able to analytically, it's called natural language processing, understand who you want to be, how you want to grow. And every day it gives you the right lesson, but it also introduces you to a new person every day that can enrich your life. We can predict to a stunning accuracy who you're going to fall in love with, who you're going to become close friends with. And then if you become, somebody asked about Mindvalley for Business, we develop our AI, which as you put your employees into Mindvalley, our AI develops a pattern for your company culture. We start to understand who your employees are. Maybe yours is a company where health is maybe not so good, so we want to start training your people for health. Or maybe people are not friendly with each other, too stressed out. We want to start training that. But not only that, the Mindvalley job matching service, which launches in 24 months, will be able to predict the right people from our network that if you hire them into your company, they're going to be able to uplift your culture. So that's where we're going. We're not just building a Netflix with all of the world's best programs. We're building a replacement for Facebook. And when we combine both together, we're building the world's most advanced global education institute. That's where we're going. And we're bringing the price down so every human being will be able to afford it. Somebody said, how can we invest in Mindvalley? We're going public in 2 years. So, just pay attention to the news.
And Vishen, we also got one question from members asking, how do they sign up to the Be Extraordinary seminar? Quite a few questions around these.
Well, go become a member, go to mindvalley.com. This seminar is, you cannot sign up for it. It's only for members, right? And in the past, pre-pandemic, you could. It was only in certain regions in the world. So it is huge in California, in the Netherlands. We had a wonderful group of instructors bring it to Haiti. And so it's become really big in Haiti as well, and many other countries. I think it's like in 25 countries or so. But right now, we took our best instructor, our highest rated instructor was Scylla. She's a former member of the Dutch Parliament. Amazing teacher. She'll be teaching it on February 20th. And when you sign up and become a member, we'll send you an email with all of the instructions. Please block off 5 hours on February 20th.
For those of you who cannot see it, you can already find the details on the Connections app. I see a few members are asking where to find the details. You'll find all of them inside of the Connections app.
Yeah, as soon as you become let me share this, okay? I think this will help a lot of people. Okay, so as soon as you become a member, now you don't have to become a member to get to this page. This is our welcome guide. We actually keep this page open. It's mindvalley.com/welcome. Okay, everything is over here on how to get started, how to download the Connection app. There are orientation calls. So when you join the Connection app, you'll get invited to an orientation call. I'm with you on Thursday, guiding you through everything. So you'll get the orientation call. You'll learn about our Mind Valley University. This is where all our members come to a country together and create a community from scratch for 30 days. People live together for 30 days. I mean, not in the same room, but we use Airbnb. We transform an entire city into a campus. You learn about community learning tools. I mean, this ecosystem is so vast. There's just so much to cover. And then there are weekly live calls. You get to join the kickboxing session. You get to come in and join me and Matthew McConaughey live. And, you know, people form such amazing friendships that everything is over here. There's just so much to explore.
And there's a lot of enthusiasm around the dating app. So we're getting a lot of questions.
That is crazy, guys. That's so crazy. And what's really cool about it is, okay, check this out. The people who are in Mind Valley members are just so freaking like cool, because the best people are people into personal growth. We decided to create the dating feature because our people kept telling me, you know, that they want to date consciously. They want to date people who live a personal growth lifestyle, not people who have so many issues and problems. Now look at our members. This, by the way, is our stories engine. So members come and they share their stories to inspire other members. You can see members from all around the world. You can even choose your country. You can choose category. You can choose program. All of it is over there. You can submit your own story, but our members are just the most inspiring people, like just crazy inspiring. And they're doing such cool things in the world. And because Mind Valley has such a big focus on compassion, on things like forgiveness, they're the nicest people. And look at how accomplished they are, right? Like this dude, Jagdish, he is the chairman of Gold's Gym in India. That's him with Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're just really cool. They're from all ages, all countries. This guy, Ranveer, started the biggest podcast in India. Many of them are celebrities. And so our members are just epically cool. They're also a very good looking bunch for whatever reason. They're just such beautiful people. I think it comes from that dedication, that focus to growing and becoming the best they can be. And they come from all around the world.
The radiance that comes from inside.
Yes, exactly.
Vishen, we're getting a few questions on, if I buy a single program, does that make me a member?
No, if you buy a single program, it's amazing, right? If you buy a single program, is like $200 to $300, and you get that program, and it's gonna change your life. It's totally gonna change your life. But if you become a member, you get all the programs and the community and Om Vana and everything else. And becoming a member is just it's $500 a year or $99 a month. Honestly, guys, since we launched monthly, it doesn't even make sense to buy a single program. Look, if you buy a single program, it's $300. If you become a member, pay $99 for that month. You get everything plus that program you want. You can finish that program in 1 month, and then you can unsubscribe. And now you've saved $200. But you probably wouldn't do that, because once you go into that, Mind Valley is so beautifully addictive. Once you go into that, you fall in love with the community. People come because they want a super brain or they want to lose weight, and then they fall in love with the community. They fall in love with everyone else, and then this becomes their tribe. Our members have created self-organized communities all around the world, and it's just so beautiful to see.
And one more question that we got was around bringing Mind Valley to schools. How to move with that?
Oh, yeah. So that's happening right now. So we are launching a new service for teachers, right? So if you're an educator, if you're a coach, we're building, so I've built an AI that allows me, this is like so epically cool, it's insane. And an AI that speeds up writing a book by 70%. I'm in the final stages of getting this AI out. So this means if it normally takes you 100 hours to write a book, now you do it in 30 hours. Now you may be wondering how. We freaking built an artificial intelligence to help you do it. And that's because the hardest part of writing a book is the research. We're building this and we're getting this AI out to all teachers. You're going to get free access to it if you're a member, which means if you're if you're teaching in a classroom and you have a student and you know the student, okay, is having difficulties with stress, with learning, maybe they have an abusive dad, you punch it into the AI and the AI gives you the right lesson to deliver to the student. You watch the lesson and then you can share the video with the student or you can teach it to the student and you get the rights to teach it. That's what we're building because this magnifies wisdom. It allows everyone to become a healer. And remember Neil Donald Walsh's advice to me, when you walk into a room, heal the room. So that AI is coming up really, really, really fast.
Vishen, I want you to know about this comment that we got from Maria, and I wonder what's your wisdom on this. She's saying, my parents don't want me to pay for the programs in Mind Valley. What can Maria say to her parents? Because she really wants to join. But she needs approval.
There's nothing. I'm not going to ask. I don't know how old you are. I'm not going to ask you to disobey your parents. I'm sorry, but I don't feel it is my. I don't feel I can answer that. What I may say is, if you cannot, get your dad to read the Code of the Extraordinary Mind or the Buddha and the Badass. Maybe that will transform that. Okay, or get your dad to come onto one of our live calls.
Wonderful. Someone was asking about the coaching program as well.
Oh yeah. So you can become a member, and membership is huge. Some people, when they become a member, they want to get a coach. This tends to be for people who want to spend a little bit extra money and get a coach, like a personal coach who is calling them up and spending an hour with them a month. So we developed a coaching program. And again, because of economies of scale, we're able to make it really affordable. So we have coaches around the world. Your commitment is 4 hours a month, right? So so this is 2499. You can get that at mindvalley.com/coaching. If you want that. So what happens is you have a coach guiding you through the system, and guiding you not just through the system, but with every other challenge you have in life. It's a Mind Valley certified coach, and you are part of a group of 10 students. So we put you in a private mastermind of 10 students, and everyone commits to each other's growth. So you get a group of allies that are helping you in life. That's what the coaching is like.
And as always, in every live call, we get this question, which is, what about Mind Valley in India?
Mind Valley in India. Mind Valley is available in India. Just go to India, just go from India and subscribe. Now, here's the cool part that's happening. Mind Valley Local is happening really soon. So within 45 days, if you're in Mind Valley in India, you're going to be included in our India private network. Likewise, if you are in Tajikistan, or you are in Canada, or you're in Spain, there's going to be local Mind Valley networks. And what's going to happen is you'll get connected with members nearby. You will be able to, and soon we're going to start bringing in live talks and presentations in local languages. So there will be live calls in Hindi. We're going to bring in so many Indian celebrities, and I'm super excited. And yes, in Turkey and China, we just finished a project working with United Nations data to map the entire world and figure out how to build membership clusters all around the world. This is going to be launching in 45 days. You can already go from it to India, go and sign up into Mind Valley India and see it. So let me show you. Sorry, you won't see it yet. It's going to be launching, but you will see. Notice how when you sign up, we ask you for your country. There's a reason for that. So I'm in Estonia. I'm soon going to be in the Estonian network. Now I'm also a CEO. So I'm going to be in the CEO network. So we're going to put you in private communities based on your country and your occupation. You can be part of 3 different country networks because many people live globally right now.
And I believe we have covered.
Oh yeah, sorry. Ruby said, I want to sign up and pay monthly. Can my son have access to it too? So Ruby, I mean, just like Netflix, right? You get a Netflix account. You can share it with your family. You can share it with your son. I don't know how old your son is. There's no issue there. You can get a Mind Valley account and you can share the content with your family. But if you want to be part of the community, it has to be one profile. Because it's a profile. It's a real human being. All our members are real human beings.
I'm loving to read the number of young students and members who are joining us. We have 15-year-olds,
so
14-year-olds.
people under 18 will be having a network for teenagers as well, Mind Valley for Teenagers. And if you can see my screen, we have a lot of programs coming up for young people. It's all part of All Access. So let me go to, I'm gonna log out and go to our store. Oh, here we go, Mind Valley programs. Okay, so if you scroll down, you'll see all the upcoming programs, right? You see this one, this is for teens, creating friendships and deep connections. This one helps you with your dating life, with self-esteem, with speaking up. This one is Superbrain. This one will help you improve your grades. We have a whole category called Kids, Teens, and Parenting. Let's see what's over there. Conscious Parenting Mastery. This turns parents into conscious parents. We have a whole television channel called Little Humans. It's included in membership with all of the world's best parenting experts. And then I've launched a program for teenagers. This is now available. It's called Be Extraordinary for Teens. So all of this included in membership. So if you join as a parent, you can share this with your teens. Yeah, and then we have events around the world just for teenagers. That's our teacher, Jamia.
We're having a lot of enthusiasm around all the content that you're sharing for teens.
Yeah, so we're really, really, really excited about that. So Mind Valley for teens, and look at all of these programs, by the way, are launching in the next 2 to 3 months for teenagers. So there's so many world-class programs coming up.
Wonderful. And I saw one question asking where to start when you're a member. We will be covering these on the orientation with Vishen, which will be happening next Thursday.
Exactly. So we give you a pathway so you know where to start, right? We give you an assessment. Based on the assessment, it'll pinpoint, you can pinpoint what programs to begin with.
Vishen, I believe we have covered most of the questions that came in.
Okay.
At least I did my best to collect the most frequent ones.
So just go to mindvalley.com, and sign up, okay? Go to mindvalley.com, sign up, and I'll see you on Thursday. Now, I'll see you on Thursday. Thursday, we have 2 big events. Join me for the orientation. Then you have a 2-hour break. And then join me and Matthew McConaughey. That'll be so fun to have you guys and be chatting live with Matthew McConaughey. They're just 2-3 weeks ago, we had Elon Musk's mother come on and talk about raising Elon. So we have all of these amazing guests who come and speak to our members, and it's live, right? So Matthew is actually there. It's so cool. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you. This has been really, really, really fun. I can't believe the number of people we had. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Go to mindvalley.com, sign up before 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, and you'll get the free tickets to the February 20th seminar completely free. Okay.
Thank you, Vishen, as well for this wonderful training today.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.